YouTube for this episode of the Awakening podcast.
See you again, Arnold. And this week we're going to be talking about digital IDs. Just before we start, you'll find everything about Arnold on braingym.fitness. Everything about me. Scan the QR code or go to roycollin.com. As you can hear, I'm a bit under the weather because I think what's above the weather is causing that, but we'll talk about that next week. So, Arnold, I suppose let's get it started.
Yeah, in a moment I will talk about the bigger picture because I think it's very important that our listeners understand what the bigger picture is and that you don't see all the individual events, calamities, things which are happening as isolated. They're not isolated, they're connected, and I will paint a little bit of a picture. But I was caught between what was happening in South Asia a little bit over a week ago, where the heading was 86 million bank accounts were closed. 86 million. Well, I guess that's more than people in Poland and in Romania together.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they were shut down overnight. It happened in Vietnam, Thailand, and the rest of South of Asia. They get no cash, so you cannot go to the ATM, get your money. You had no access. And the reason is that they didn't provide their biometric data, meaning your face, your picture, and your digital ID. Guess what? You cannot buy food. You cannot pay your rent. You cannot buy fuel for your car. 86 million people. And I couldn't find anywhere like why were they not doing it? Maybe they just forgot or thought it was not important. But it is clear. And in the Western media, I didn't read anything about it. So that is for me a sign is that they are trying. That's what they do. That's what they did with the vaccines. That's what they do with other stuff. They try it somewhere else in the world, see how people react, and then learn from that and apply it to the rest of the world. So that was my trigger to talk about digital ID, central bank digital currencies. The abbreviation is CBDC, central bank digital currencies. That's associated with it. So bank accounts closed, which is terrible, which is really terrible. And the digital ID, which is connected to that, is being rolled out. This was another message I found in Australia, Canada, China, Mexico, Vietnam, UK, Rwanda, and all Nordic countries, and more are on the planning. So this is what's happening right now.
So what I've actually done today is one, when was the phrase digital ID first mentioned and by whom? And it's in the concept of digital ID, a digital representation of a person's identity for authentication and access to services have evolved over several decades. However, formal governmental and policy makers of digital ID are relatively recent. In the United States, the term gained explicit policy traction in the 2010s, especially as mobile technology and biometrics advanced. And what I was looking at is because what I see with everything, with the vaccine and everything, you see movies where there's like a pandemic in 2011 or even before that. So I was like, okay, what movies were there? And I think it's just kind of, like you'd Star Trek. I mean, that's from 1966, featured voice ID, retina scans, and facial recognition for access to secure areas. 2001, A Space Odyssey, showcased voice and facial recognition through the HAL 9000 computer. Blade Runner, which is another one a lot of people would have heard over the years, 1982, used iris eye scans to identify verification. RoboCop, which was in 1987, depicted facial recognition for law enforcement. Back to the Future 2, which was in 89, predicted fingerprint ID for home entry and payments. And Gattaca, I didn't know that one. The others I did. 1997, explored a society organized around getting identification and diversification. And Minority Report is in 2002, popularized citywide eye scanners for tracking and personalized advertising. So a lot of the time they're showing this as being normal and a good thing, hence why a lot of the times people think this is a great thing and they'll go along with it, and they'll think that other people, there's something wrong with it, yeah, when you're trying to kick back about what's going on. And like I've seen mixed reactions with China, because at one stage you hear of like the credit score system, because of their kind of digital ID system. You cross the road and you get a fine straight away. And then there was people saying, no, that doesn't happen. And then you see loads of people, I can't fly or whatever. But from what I can see, that's exactly what happens. And I know myself, like when I got wiped out through a lot of fraud, my account was emptied. So anything money comes in is taken out. And you don't realize how bad this is till it happens to you. It's like, how do you feed your child? How do you put a roof over your head? They don't give a shit. And they'll do that. Like, basically, you've 86 million. Like, out of sight, out of mind. Nobody gives a shit about that because it's not on my doorstep. It's coming across now to the UK. And everyone is like, what's going on here? And there's some people, there's a petition of over 2 million people already and counting, kicked back in against this. Like, so yeah, it's scary. It's very scary.
Well, actually, you mentioned China. I saw today a picture of houses in China where they have on the above the front door, there's a QR code, and people can scan your QR code to see your social credit score. Yeah, well, I don't know the English word, but in the old days, when you had done something wrong, they put you in this wooden thing where you put your hands and your head in it, and people could throw eggs at you and tomatoes. This is the modern version. It's just a QR code. And it can see that you crossed the road 3 times and you didn't pay your rent on time or whatever. And that's your neighbor. So, but
And like you won't see government officials part of the system to see, because every single politician, they've all been caught all over the world on a load of not like there's a high percentage of them have been caught doing things. They will never be part of that system that they push on you.
yeah, well, that was the same with the vaccines and everything else. Yeah? So it's like they didn't take them, yeah? Or they splashed water in them. Yes, so it's like, yeah? But I would like to share from an article the bigger picture, because it's like, oh, what are they doing with my bank account? And it looks like it's totally separate from the vaccine. It's totally separate from no, folks, it's all connected. It's part of a plan. And the plan is to introduce a technocracy where AI is basically running our world. And they are introducing this central bank digital currency, which is programmable. So it's not like you have a dollar bill or a euro bill and that's it. Well, no, they can program it. They can program it that you can buy only dry bread yeah, or nothing else. So it's programming, but in order to do that, they need AI. That's why they are pushing AI like crazy. They need massive data centers. That's why all these, let's say, top 5, 6 technology companies, they're putting billions literally into building massive data centers. There's the link with the global ID because, well, if you have a digital currency, you need to know that it's my digital currency or Roy's digital currency. So you need something to identify you. There's what you already mentioned, which is happening a long time, the surveillance everywhere, all these CCTV cameras everywhere. I'm pretty sure. Well, there has been proof that even your phone are spying on you 7 by 24. Why are they doing it? Because they want to monitor individual behavior and geospatial surveillance to monitor group behavior. So if they're seeing like, oh, there are more than 5 people gathering together, oh, that's not good. We need to get there. They're building this infrastructure all over the world. In another episode, I shared a map of all cities with AI data centers. It's incredible. It's everywhere. Yeah. So these things are tied together. They're not separate because one thing needs another. So people are like, oh, this AI is so great. Yeah, but wait for it. In a few months, it will totally control your life. Or it's like the digital ID is like, no, then we can see, we can distinguish our fellow citizens from illegal immigrants. Or we will be safe because everybody who doesn't have it is, they will be kicked out. All these things are bogus reasons. The reason is that you say, oh, digital ID is good because then we can get rid of the illegal migrant living. No, and then you say yes to that, and you say yes to that, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything is connected. And we're totally screwed. So that is what's happening, and they're pretty close to everything else. And when you talk about these currencies and about this digital ID, it's being rolled out everywhere. So this is kind of the last step, because if you cannot, what Roy just said, if you cannot get to your money, how will you live? And what will you do? So
There's a lot of people for the last 10 years, they're saying, oh, blockchain technology, crypto is the way to go. And even though I've got the crypto podcast, I feared it all the time, just how it's done. And like when you want to get crypto from your fiat money, no problem. But on your debit credit card, just transfer money, no problem. We'll take it off you. But most of the platforms, Binance and all these Coinbase and everything, which are the major ones that people are using, KYC. No, so you to get your money out, you have to give your passport. You have to do your face and do all the stupid shit. And I'm finding more and more that stuff now on everything. Put up your passport, took your face, look to the left, look to the right. So every single thing is doing that. And unfortunately, I think without even realizing it, I've been duped. So I, in 2018, went to Estonia and they were doing the e-residency for the businesses. And I was like, okay, this is way better system. And, you know, because tax optimization has always been a thing for me. And just to show you, so you get your card, a USB, put it in, and then you get two pins. And it's like, so you can digitally sign documents. If you have a different directors, you can do everything electronically. The second one that I had to get, it was valid for 5 years. I had to go, because I was in Estonia for the first one. Second one, I had to go to the embassy in Warsaw. Fingerprints. I don't know, did they do DI? I can't even remember with that. But basically, that's a digital ID without me even realizing it. And it gets worse. I've mentioned it a few times about, you know, how in Ireland with pension and stuff like that, that's, you know, usually when you're dealing with the government before, you just ring them up and everything. Then all of a sudden, in Ireland, now I'm talking specifically about Ireland, then you can only ring them on Monday and Wednesday between 9 and 11. And I was like, what's this shit about? Like, but they're supposed to be serving us. And I can only and like most of the time you're getting sidetracked, you're forgetting much of it. So, like, to try to plan it, but they want you to do everything online with My ID or something like that, mygovernment.ie. And that was their way of doing digital ID, the exact same thing. So they have most 80% of the population already on that system. I only realized that today by actually going through and studying this and going, eh. So there's some countries they're kind of coming up and going, all right, now we're doing digital IDs, and people are lashing back, and others are doing it. Poland as well, 2017, they started having their kind of ID system, and people thinking nothing about it. So unfortunately, a lot of countries, there's a bit of trickery pretending it's just this and that. If they connect them, I think that's where we have them with GDPR. We have to use them with their own rules against them. because one, and all these data breaches and everything, it's just so all your health information, everything is going to go against you. And I'm looking at videos now. This was in the UK. So with the electric vehicles, because it's all about the carbon footprint as well. Oh, Arnold, you're not flying no more. You've passed your limit for your
And
lifetime.
the 15-minute cities. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So all of this is control. And it's like, and the fact that during the lockdown, they pumped out all these 5G, like so many buildings, because I'm just constantly seeing this is everywhere. All the lights that they're putting in now, you don't even know. They're like flat, they're like LED. People think, oh, these are great. They're all tracking. So, like the next lockdown, like when they said, oh, you can't have six people together. Oh, they're coming along, they're carting you away, or else they're emptying your account. Oh, say there's 10 people at a birthday party or a wedding or whatever, they'll just take whatever they feel is right out of your account. And I know from experience of having my account emptied loads of times, fraudulently and wrong, you don't get it back. Once they take it, I've went into even in the city of Wuch, they just send you from department to department. Not one person takes accountability because what they do is they go under the umbrella of the government. No person puts their name to anything, and it's a mandate. And just remember, I mentioned it before. I mentioned it a few times. Mandate doesn't mean it's mandatory that you have to do it. So be careful with that. They go, oh, here, do this. This is good for you. Do not sign anything. The minute you sign something, you're just complying. They have you because you've just agreed to go under their rules.
Yeah, but it's happening everywhere and it's happening all the time. Yeah, it's like that's what they can now already have with this Palantir guys who are behind the surveillance system and the database of all your stuff. I'm pretty sure because even with your phone, yeah, it used to be a fingerprint, and then it would be your facial scanner and whatever it's like. But these CCTV cameras, they can, and that's happening already. They scan your face, and there were already sometimes if you, I read a few months ago there was a guy arrested because they had scanned his face, and he said, "Well, I don't know, he stole something, whatever." But it appeared that the facial recognition system made a mistake, but he was put in jail. And so it's like, so, but I think it's important to understand two things. Like you said, yeah, there were already movie things in 2000. So I guess this is already being planned for 50, 60 years. Yeah, so it's not like, oh, they're doing this and it's a new plan, whatever. No, that's why, well, you were trapped, I were trapped, everybody's trapped. They have your fingerprint, they have your face, they have everything. And so because it started not today, it started 50, 60, maybe 70 years ago. So they're building this up and they see all this thing. Oh, this is something happening in Vietnam and Thailand. I don't care because people only care about their own country. You know, so you're like, oh, Thailand, oh, fine, I have no problem with that. Yeah, and the jab they tested on orphanages in Africa. Oh, I don't care about orphanages in Africa. So that's what they do. Is like it's planned a long time ago. So a lot of stuff you think, well, I'm not going to do that. Well, they already have it. And the other part is like they see how people, and then they refine it and refine it and refine it. And by the time it's global rollout, they exactly know how we're going to respond and what is going to happen. So this is all part of the total control, which is very close now. And it's not something new for us and new. And we see it in isolation. It's like, oh, digital ID is good. We can get rid of these illegal migrants. No, it's to make you a prisoner in your own city. Yeah? And that is happening in all these things. So it's time to, well, we've been talking about it last week as well, is, well, the resistance and things which are not helping, but it'll make people personal accountable. And that's what they did in Nepal in the protest. They got to the houses of these ministers and they chased them, and well, what they did is not something I encourage to do, and I do not want people to be killed. But it's like, if you make people personal, responsible, and accountable, then things will change. Otherwise, it won't. Like you just said, it's the government. No, it's you, Piotr, whatever his name. Yeah. Yeah. And then it becomes different.
Yes, yeah. Like I follow a lot on the UK, and I seen just another one again today. Guy, and the judge is like, "Oh, you said this," and 2 years in jail. Like, and you're like, and I've been invited a few times to go to the States, and sometimes I'm in groups, and sometimes people are doing speaking events, and they go, "Ah, you have to come over and speak." And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't go over there. Like I said, what I'm talking about, I'm censored. I'm kicked off YouTube. I'm kicked off even TikTok at one stage for over 6 months. Every single thing with me. And it's like they don't like what I'm saying. They don't like what I'm talking about. And obviously there's millions of people doing that. So I go into the UK. How do I know? Who's going to save me? Nobody. They don't. It's like the country you meant with 86 million people. It's the exact same thing. So I go into the States and they decide, yeah, they either say go back, yeah, turn around, you're not coming in, or come in and you're not getting out. And it's like you can't risk that. And unfortunately, that's the situation in a few countries. Like we think we're free and everything is there's nothing you can trust. And all I say is you have to take you like there's a lot of people living in hope and thinking this person is going to save me, this person is save me. My experience from a lot of what I'm seeing is 95% of those that are so-called on our side and helping us, it's all controlled opposition and they're spewing the wrong stuff and they make you go down the wrong path. The only way you can actually get out of this is be free yourself, realize the power you've got, and go for the individual. So if you know that somebody is actually doing this stuff or pushing all lies and everything, I mentioned it in the previous one, the boycott one. It was done years ago in Ireland. It was like shun them. I'm not saying attack anyone or everybody, but you call them out on it. If they're in a restaurant, if they're going to your hairdresser, I'm not serving you. If they're going to the pub, like I remember Starmer went into a pub and the publican that owned the place kicked him out. You're not drinking in my pub. And I take my hat off to him. That's the way to do it. Because that's when they realize, oh, I'm really hated. And they get the police to be behind them. And the idiot police actually do it instead of representing the public, which they're supposed to do, but they're not. So then there's no faith in the police. So you have to see where the power is, which is within.
Yes, and it's way past the time that the NIMBY thing, which is an abbreviation, which is not in my backyard. Like I said, most people don't care until it happens in your own street, in your own city, in your own country. But people don't give a shit about, oh, it's a guy in Vietnam, they cannot get there. Oh, I don't care. Yeah. That's the NIMBY attitude. Guys, we got to connect globally. We got to connect with everybody because there is no such thing as NIMBY. And to close off, it's a video I saw this morning where someone was talking that the United Nations, which had the General Assembly last week, they agreed to a document called the Pact of the Future document. And it was agreed by all 197 countries. Agreed? Agreed? Yeah, they especially invented a silent procedure. Huh? Silent procedure. And nobody objected and nobody rejected. So it was agreed. This means all 197 countries of the United Nations agree to have a digital ID. And they agree what you're displaying. If you have dissent, if you have a different opinion, if you want to express your ideas, whatever, it's blocked. That was also in the same document. So, folks, this is like, well, you're living in Bulgaria, as I don't care about. Now, if you're part of the UN, it's everywhere. So, well, we're way past the time, but please wake up and stop this thing because, well, we will literally become prisoners in our own houses.
Just finally, what I had saw with the UK, and this has just come out, a major controversy surrounding the involvement of Ian Blair, son of the former Prime Minister Tony Blair, the warmonger who was actually pushing this digital ID. So he's won the contract for that. You couldn't make that up. So that's just corruption at its highest, as always. So yeah. So as always, Arnold, thanks very much. And next week we're going to talk about the clouds in the sky that is my pet peeve and Arnold's as well. So you find everything about Arnold on braingym.fitness. Find everything about me, scan the QR code or go to roycon.com. I also have a school community, school.com/podfather, and then /about, you find what it is. Until next week, take care.